Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Come join me where the arcades are golden age and Atari is at its peak. It's the middle of December 1982.
Well, good luck to you. How are you at video games?
Okay.
How about you, Barbara?
I'm gonna try.
Good luck to both of you. Shake hands, if you will. Go to your places at the...
We are going to be checking out Electronic Games Magazine. This is the December issue. So this whole episode is all about reading the magazine and also giving a stronger context because here on the show, we've seen and played every single video game up to this point, and this magazine may have a few holes, may have a few things that would surprise you. So let's check it out and see what this magazine is all about. Welcome everyone to Electronic Games. So today is just going to be us checking out the magazine. We're going to be perusing the volume and seeing what surprises the magazine has. And this will be the entire reading. We're going to be doing the whole thing. So here we go. The Player's Guide to Programmable Video Games, Electronic Games is one of my favorites. So that's why we're going to be checking out the whole thing. The front cover is Santa Claus saying that he loves Electronic Games Magazine. And at this point, for commercials, we've seen Santa Claus promoting Apple II and a few other consoles. So Santa Claus seems to be loving all video games right now. It's the second annual gift guide for gamers, and then they're going to talk about ColecoVision, and then the ultimate gaming gift, which I think that's video games or systems. That's got to be it, right? Yeah, all right. So let's crack it open and read some electronic games. Oh, smell that. Smells like 1982. Now, what in the world is this? What is that? Oh, okay. Well, it's M Network games. I don't know what they're trying to do here. And that's obviously the Atari VCS. Oh my gosh, 4-page ad. Mattel paid a lot for that. Okay, so yeah, it's M Network. M Network is the company that Mattel used to take Intellivision games and bring them over to the Atari 2600. So unscramble it. Okay, let's play along. Add new life to Atari VCS with M Network home video games. Okay, that's fun. That's how you start the whole magazine, though, with a cryptic riddle or clue. Okay. So the majority of these games, though, were on Intellivision. They came to the Atari, and they're all right, but they're essentially taking games on one console that's not as popular and moving it to the one that really is popular, the Atari. All right, so our next page here is the table of contents. We're not going to go through the table of contents because we're going to read the entire magazine. So let's point ourselves over here on the right side. Here's the first ad about how to be single-handed with the QuickShot joystick. We've already seen the QuickShot joystick by SpectraVision. First time we ever saw it was in the game China Syndrome, a very bizarre, very weird game for the Atari 2600. I don't know if you remember this one. There it is. China Syndrome was nothing too special, but it did work well with the QuickShot joystick. Here on the show, we don't really highlight too much stuff that's on the hardware side, but it's interesting to note that it's supposed to be a joystick that you can do it all on one hand. See how you have the button at the top? Ooh, fancy. All right, let's flip on to the next page. The next is talking about the annual arcade awards. So over here are the ways that they are going to be breaking down the different video game divisions, computer game division, coin-op division, and then standalone. So this magazine does play kind of like we do on the show. We do video game consoles, which they refer to as video games in the magazine. And then we also play computer games on the show and everything in the arcade. And they do handhelds as well. So it's pretty much like it's our show from 1982. Over here on the right side is an ad for Spider-Man, and we did see Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a really good one. I had fun playing this one. Spider-Man, I currently have, as the time of this recording, the high score for Spider-Man on Retro Achievements. This game's great. It's an original title, and the gameplay is something fresh because it's not trying to copy something, and it's not an arcade. And majority of the arcade or the ads for Spider-Man were a comic book like this. So well done. It's a licensed video game, and it's pretty good, at least right now. The next section is the Electronic Games Hotline. So this one has a few different things. Electronic Games Hotline is just telling you what's new, like in the news. Over here on the left, we got Milton Bradley acquiring GCE. GCE is the one that brought us the Vectrex. So this is around the time where it switched from GCE to Milton Bradley, taking over. And it says that the future plans for Vectrex include its introduction in 7 of the country's largest markets in winter. So keep your radars scanned. We are going to see more releases later next year for the Vectrex, and they're going to be Milton Bradley. Over here is about the Odyssey 2. Oh, it's about getting cheaper $20 controllers for the Odyssey 2. Imagine $20 as being the cheaper. No, they got to go even lower than that. And then over here we got video games going to the movies, talking about the commercials for video games in the movies. So far they've done ads for Chopper Command, Star Master, Tron, Dig Dug, and Yar's Revenge. And I know we saw the movie commercial for Dig Dug and Yar's Revenge, but the ad we saw for Chopper Command and Star Master and Tron, I don't think we saw those. Kind of fun though. Did you ever go to the movies and have a fun time seeing ads for video games in the movies? I know. I hope not, Paul, that they're going to give up. Yeah, Milton Bradley on the Vectrex. That's foreshadowing, sadly. And then over on the right side, we got an ad for Amadar. If you forgot about Amadar, that one was the port for the Atari 2600. One of the only ways right now that you could play this style of game for a home console. And it's okay. It has a few cuts, but it works all right. Fairly average for a console video game, especially if you like yourself some Amadar. And let's keep going. More in the news over here on the right side is, look at that, Atari begins the greatest adventure. This is all about Fire World, Earth World, Water World, Air World. It's Sword Quest with the infamous medallion, I believe. Yeah, talisman, $25,000. At the time of us on the show, or December 1982 right now, we've only seen Sword Quest Earthworld. That's the only one that exists right now. We are going to be seeing other releases later in 1983, but this is why they're only showing the first contest or the first competition for that. And then we have at the top of the screen here for Saturday morning, the cartoon Pac-Man. Yeah, look at that. And they even show the screen of the system. So I guess at this time, did they not think Pac-Man was that bad? Because we played Pac-Man on the show, and yes, it's true. It's not living up to the arcade quality, of course. And we know now that the Atari could have done better than that. But they're actually showing the screenshot here for Pac-Man as if it's not that big a deal. We'll show you what it looks like, wafers and all. And then down here we have. They're looking for a hero. It's the contest, the greatest American video game hero. You have to play Star Master on its most difficult setting, and they have high scores for 6 different age groups going to Hollywood. Prizes include a copy of the film, video cassette. So it's all about Star Master. I'm pretty sure they're referring to Star Master on the Atari 2600, this one, because right now we have played Star Master on... Is it Star? Yeah, we played Star Master on the Atari 5200 as well. Yeah. No, this is the Activision one. This was only on the Atari 2600. That's the one that they're probably talking about. That's fun. Way to go, Activision. And then over on the right side, we got an ad for Frogger, the official Frogger. The only one that they're referring to here is the Atari 2600 version of Frogger. But right now, there's a lot more official Frogger that you could be playing. And this version's all right for a home console port. We've also played the official Frogger on the Philips Video Pack, which was only in Europe, because we play everything that's available now. This magazine's mostly in North America, but you can be playing Frogger on most home computers right now. We played Frogger on the Atari home computer. We played Frogger on the ZX81. We played Frogger on the TRS-80, the Apple II. It's officially at home in lots of places. There we go. Thanks, Jeremiah. Star Raiders was the 5200. Yeah, Star Master was 2600. Getting them mixed up because they're all basically based on Star Raiders. Anyway, let's keep flipping on. After Frogger, gotta love that. And then over here on the right, we have the arcade scoreboard. The best scores for popular video games. They put it all in the magazine. This is where you can have your scores being displayed. The games currently eligible for the national scoreboard are UFO on the Odyssey 2, Asteroids on the VCS, Grand Prix, there it is, on the Activision, by Activision on the Atari 2600. Auto Racing on the Mattel Intellivision. There it is, USAC Auto Racing. Galactic Invasion on the Astrocade. Space Chase by Apollo on the Atari 2600. Defender on the VCS. There it is, the Incredible Wizard. One of the best ways to play Wizard of War right now. And we have seen Wizard of War CVS Electronics released on the Atari 2600. Then they have Space Hawk and Pac-Man, and then over there's the Honor Roll. So cool. Check it out. Getting your name there. Oh my gosh, look under asteroids. 199,930 points is Edward Simrad. Look, it's Ed Simrad, one of the founders of electronic of EGM, Electronic Games Magazine. That's the EGM founder. That's Ed Simrad. I just saw a documentary on that. Too cool. And then on the right side, we got an ad for Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. This is a very interesting time because this is another licensed game, like we were just talking about with Spider-Man. That's pretty good, pretty well done. It's obviously a Defender clone, but it works well and plays well. Sound effects are the classic that you'd expect on the Atari 2600, but letting us know that right now it feels like it's a bright time for these big game companies to take these licenses, and they're going to do well with them. They're going to take care of the licenses. At least it feels that way right now. All right, let's flip on to the next page. We got the National Vanity Board. So this Vanity Board is for everyone that's in the arcade playing games. Check out these high scores in the arcades right now in December 1982. I got a cabinet of Centipede back there with Tron as well. Very nice. Yeah, there we go. Brian in the chat's just talking about you didn't really critique games until a little bit later. I know, at this point, you're just happy with what you got. So these are some pretty nice scores. All these arcade games we've seen so far, and as far as arcade, we'll go into a little bit more details later in the magazine. But nice to see what high scores would be like right now. On the right side, we got an ad for Wico Command Control. This is just letting you know about how many other third-party controllers are out there. There's a lot. Thanks, Wico. All right, flipping on the next page. This is the Reader Replay. Reader Replay is where people just write in and they answer them. So we got some programming pointers over there about assembly language. Very nice. From Morgan Dunn. Thanks, Morgan. And over here we got a complaint about a television. I'm a reader of electronic games. I have to say, I enjoy your magazine. Unfortunately, I have one bone to pick. The only thing is that the issues I've seen, there's only a little bit of praise for the Mattel Intellivision, and the Atari VCS can do no wrong. And they got two pictures here for Mazatron and Subhunt. Why would they pick Mazatron and Subhunt for the two games on the Mattel Intellivision? Because Mazatron is cool in theory, but the game play isn't very intuitive, and it isn't as fun of an experience, I would say. Looks cool on pictures though. And then the other one is actually really cool strategic game, but not really the heavy hitters of Intellivision. If you're going to put a game to boast for about Intellivision, it's just funny that they put these two games as their reasons why that makes Intellivision cool. I'm not sure why they did that. And then, yeah, despite the larger library offered by the Atari, and yes, the Atari has a huge library right now. Mattel has some 40 cartridges available. You play both systems, and they're fed up with the obvious bias against the Intellivision. I mean, it's just because there's so many games on the Intellivision. Is that what they said? Yeah. They put both comments, and they said they try to please all gamers, but they can't do it. No, yeah, you can't do it. It's too difficult. Over here on the right side is an ad by Tiger Vision. Tiger Vision's bringing us a few titles here: Jawbreaker, King Kong, and then Marauder and Threshold down at the bottom as well. So we've seen all of these titles. Tiger Vision's had a little bit of inconsistencies with their games. King Kong is, if you thought Donkey Kong on the Atari 2600 was bad, then King Kong you're going to think is just trash. It plays terribly. The other one, Jawbreaker's an all right time. The one that they ported, what came originally from home computers, the original Jawbreaker looked just like Pac-Man. This one is the second release to make it not look exactly like Pac-Man. But that's the two that we've seen here, King Kong and Jawbreaker. Down at the bottom, though, a little more interesting. You got Marauder, which was ported over from home computers, and Threshold, but River Patrol is something a little bit different. River Patrol is a game that is not going to be released until much later. It's funny that they put it here. We're now going to be seeing some games in this magazine that never really saw the light of day, or not going to be released until much later. But it's just curious that if we're looking at the magazine and we know now what the future is going to hold. River Patrol is not out yet, and it's not going to be out, I think, until 1984 is. I think that's when it actually is truly released. Someone check me on that. It's based on the game we have played already. So it's a game on a computer we've already played, but it's not released for the Atari by ColecoVision yet. All right, let's keep flipping on. This is an ad we've seen plenty of times. This is ColecoVision showing off their adapter, where you can plug in Atari 2600 cartridges. There they are. You put Atari 2600 games into this expansion module, and you can play all Atari VCS compatible cartridges. Yeah, this was pulled off the shelves pretty fast, or tried to. But way to go, ColecoVision. If ColecoVision wasn't already cool enough, being able to play everything on the Atari VCS is awesome. So due to the upcoming crash, which we've seen little hints here and there on the show of the video game crash or console crash in North America, that we're going to see video games that are shown in this magazine that don't see the light of day. They're going to be pulled from the shelves or canceled, and it's going to be great because this magazine is going to show some games that may not even exist. Let's find out. Flip on to the next one. It's ColecoVision. Just talking about it. So the ColecoVision ad will this be the next new greatest system? Oh, there you go. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, it was essentially a VCS attached to the ColecoVision. That's why they were able to backwards compatibility it. So the ColecoVision up to this point on Chronologically Gaming, we've seen all these games so far. Donkey Kong was the launch title for the ColecoVision, and this is fantastic. This is one of the best games you could play on all home consoles right now. After that, we saw a very well done port of Venture Going Home, which is also available on the Atari 2600. Some of these ColecoVision games are available on the Atari 2600 too, but they don't really live up. Venture does not live up to the exact. It's pretty good still on the Atari 2600. Zaxxon, though, ColecoVision Zaxxon is awesome. This is a very well done port, especially when you consider the Atari VCS version doesn't even have the same viewpoint. It doesn't have the isometric view. After that, we saw Cosmic Defender ported from the arcade. And then the original title, right now only on the ColecoVision, was the Smurf game. There is not any other game, aside from like Pitfall, that has this kind of gameplay. Sure, it's simplistic. Sure, it might be made for kids, but still a platformer? So cool. After that, we saw a well-done port for Carnival coming home. And this one works really well on the Atari VCS as well. Next on the ColecoVision was the Ken Uston blackjack and poker game. Yeah, it's all right, a poker game and blackjack. Another really good arcade port was Ladybug, right now only on the ColecoVision. The only other way you could play this is in the arcades. And then we saw Mousetrap. The Mousetrap version is so close, really well done. Again, arcade port on the ColecoVision, and this is ported on, right now I'm seeing it on the Intellivision and the Atari VCS, and it just doesn't have the same fidelity as this. Another really good one on the ColecoVision next we saw was Turbo. Turbo has done some awesome stuff, and the reason is because it has the wheel and the pedal to drive, like, or pretend like you're driving the car. It's phenomenal. And then the very final one we've seen on the ColecoVision was Space Fury, which not as impressive as the other ColecoVision games, but still a lot of fun. This is all the games we've seen so far for the ColecoVision. There's no more games we're going to see in 1982, so 11 total titles that we've seen so far, and this is it. Now, what's interesting about this ad is there's a few things that are extra about it. Every game that's on here, on this ad, we just checked out, except there's a few missing. First of all, look in the top left. That looks like... Okay, it's Mousetrap, I see. And then we have Carnival, and then look at the next one, Skiing. Skiing, I don't believe is going to come out on the ColecoVision until 1986, but the picture here looks nothing like it. It looks more like that 3D skiing we saw on Apple II, or the skiing we saw on the TRS-80 color computer. That's it's pretty impressive. I mean, it's a first-person view, but that's not going to happen. And then over here on the bottom left, head-to-head baseball is another one. I think this means it's Super Action Baseball that's going to be released sometime in 1983, I believe. But head-to-head baseball, I don't know what that is. That's something else. And then everything else here we just saw. So everything else that's on this ad is real except those 2 games. So just a little cool little tidbit there. Yeah, and Turbo was the killer app with that wheel. Fantastic. Flipping to the next page, and you can see what they say. Donkey Kong may be the best video game ever packed with a system, which means Nintendo is listening right now, and Nintendo is developing the Famicom as we speak, as we're reading this magazine in December 1982. On the right side, I believe this is an ad for a store. Climb to the top. South Pacific Video. Anyone familiar with that one? Not familiar with that one. Flip on to the next page. This next section is about gifts for gamers. It's the wide world of gaming accessories to brighten the holidays of arcaders, which is kind of nice. It has some really interesting things here. What do we have on this? Look at this. You got chess. Okay, it looks like they put it all there, mashed it up with some snow. Oh, the Vectrex. That's the one to put there. Wico trackball controller. There's Frogger on Coleco. I can see lots of stuff. Scramble. Very nice. All right, let's see what they have. What's the gifts for gamers? What's the best gift? So they usually include like a shopping list or something. So we have the gift guide and the VCS with the supercharger. See the tape cassette, because the supercharger was using cassette tapes to play the video games. Love it. All right, and then I love this part, cartridges and systems. If you can purchase or pay enough money, the best games for gamers are video game cartridges. Well, obviously. Or video game systems. Oh, really? So Paul Warner saying that Wico trackball was a pretty decent one. Very cool. And then at the top, this is the arcade time watch. I will let everyone know, while we try to play all handhelds, the watch video games, we really don't have a way to play or emulate those. So we're not cataloging all the watch video games. Sorry to disappoint you out there. And then we have the Intellivision casing. And then what do we have here? The teach and learn. What is this? Teach and learn. Never even heard of that one. Oh man, so much stuff. And then we have the controllers. Lots of different controllers, lots of different price points. At this point, the usual video game cartridge was somewhere around $30. 40, I wouldn't even say 40. I'd say somewhere around 30 for home computers, and then about 40, 45 for home consoles. And we'll see some of the prices here. They have those in here too. Let's flip to the next page. This next one's all about some other handhelds. We've seen the Coleco Frogger here, and the Scramble one that we weren't able to get to run. But yeah, it's out right now. What you're seeing here is essentially that. Yes, that's true, Jeremiah. If you want to watch the watch video games, I have to buy them all. No way. Just show them off like this on the show. So there's some more standalones. There's the Children Discovery System. No way. And a tarot reader. Didn't even know that existed. This next ad is for Phaser Patrol, about the supercharger system. So you get, with the supercharger system, Communist Mutants from Space. Really well done fixed shooter. And it has an article for, or a promotion by Andy Breyer, the 1981 Atari Asteroids Tournament champion. Interesting that they start doing this now, because they're going to have video game champions talking about games as if they're good. And this game is actually really good. Phaser Patrol is, if you liked Star Master and Star Raiders, Phaser Patrol, the video footage I have isn't really the best part of the game. But this is the rich man's Star Raiders and Star Master. It is the best way to play one of those kind of games on a home console, because it's supercharged. Really, 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 really fun. So yeah, I vouch for Phaser Patrol too. It's that good. Oh, yeah, another good catch, Jeremiah, about the Arcade Corporation before the name change. Excellent, yeah. And then the more things we have is some electronic chess, which again, we don't really hit on the show. And then the Reversi Challenger. So lots of goodies here that they brought up. Very nice. Over on the right, we have an ad for ColecoVision. It's got a few games that we've seen on the show. Cosmic Swarm, Room of Doom. However, Mission Omega, look at this. We've seen these two, but Mission Omega does not exist. This is nowhere. I don't even know if there's any prototypes. That one is a ghost game. The last mission from Earth, and only you can save the universe. I think it's when they went bankrupt, so not going to be able to play that one. let's keep going. We got an ad for Intellivision owners. Very nice. This is a Magic bringing some of their games to the Intellivision. Magic's done some really well done games for the Intellivision. The ports are awesome. Demon Attack is so different that there's some people that are divisive about which one is better, because Demon Attack on the Atari VCS is very good, and the Intellivision is so different that people could even say it's even better. And then the next one is their version of Atlantis. Atlantis is totally different than the VCS. I totally argue this one is the better port. Well done, Magic bringing it to the Intellivision and showing off the Intellivision. The other one that they're pointing out in the ad is Microsurgeon. Very bizarre, but awesome. Really cool. You're getting to fly around in a human body and shoot stuff. And then the last one from the ad is Beauty and the Beast. Obviously ripping off Donkey Kong, but very fun. Very well done. It's even having like the barrels roll down. I mean, look at that. I had a blast playing that one too. That was a great one. All right, so after this ad, the next page is about how to be a game designer. You can now plan for a career in gaming. Very fun. What do they say about Wolfenstein here? It says that creative team that produces Midway's Tron had 4 designers. Oh, and it's pointing out Chris Crawford. Very nice. Yeah, Chris Crawford did Eastern Front and Scram, and then Silas Warner did Robot War and Castle Wolfenstein. We played those, and yes, very good games. And then on the right side, we got an ad for Firefighter. This one was on the Atari VCS as well. Firefighter was the other firefighting game you could play right now on the Atari 2600. I'd say that the other one we're going to check out, I'll show that one later, is the better game. This one's still all right. It's pretty good. What's fun about video games right now is people are willing to take the risk to try something new if they're not porting over an arcade game, and this is an example of that. All right, after the Magic, we have more Magic ads. And then over on the left side, they're talking more about game developers, but the right here is an ad for Riddle of the Sphinx. Riddle of the Sphinx is a very different game for a home console. It's in the same realm as Adventure on the Atari VCS, or Indiana Jones, or E.T. Riddle of the Sphinx is the other one that's just really ambitious, punching way above its weight, and it's really cryptic. It's still pretty cool that this exists right now. For my money, of all the cryptic, strange, weird games, Dragon Stomper, which you'd have to supercharge for the Atari VCS, that's the coolest, weirdest one. But Riddle of the Sphinx is still all right. Yeah, there you go. Okay, Jeremiah's on my side. Firefighter is not bad, but Towering Inferno is great. And yeah, I'm with you there. All right, let's flip to the next page. Oh, very nice. So this is about Pitfall. Pitfall is arguably one of the best games you could play across all home consoles right now, and we played Pitfall on both the Atari VCS, and right now you can play Pitfall on the Intellivision. So now we can do like a quick side-by-side comparison, as if you're in the eye doctor. Which one looks better, Atari VCS or the Intellivision? But either way, I just recently unlocked all of the treasures and beat Pitfall, which I've never done before. But because of this show, been having a blast doing that. Lots of fun. So they're also breaking down Donkey Kong on the ColecoVision, still head-to-head. Very nice. Look at the artwork, too. Look at that. So cool. And then we got some different ads over here on the left side. Oh, video game cartridges. Used video game cartridges. Okay, they're already starting a little bit there. And then the Gamer's Edge, already seen those before. There's Donkey Kong on the ColecoVision. We've already hit up on that. And then we have, Space Hawk. Very nice. They put the overlay here. Space Hawk was available for the Mattel Intellivision. And we've already seen this game. It's kind of like a multi-directional shooter as asteroids, but you're not a ship. You get to play as a person. Really fun, creative, and works really well. Oh, very nice, Paul. Yeah, I would say I still play Pitfall too. It's really fun. And then after Space Hawk, there's an ad over here for Cosmic Creeps. Cosmic Creeps, that was so weird. That was creepy, man. I don't know if you remembered Cosmic Creeps. This video footage that I'm showing doesn't even do the game justice. It is bizarre and weird, and I would say this is one of those contenders that's a game that's worse than E.T. This is one of them. If you want to throw out more examples of games worse than E.T., here's one. Cosmic Creeps. Add it to the list. Let's flip to the next page. Lots of things here. Okay, on the left side we have Shark Attack coming up next. Really great artwork. Look at that. Way better than even the box for Shark Attack. We saw Shark Attack on the VCS, and it's also called Lockjaw. This was one of the first games before Alien came out where they just completely rip off Pac-Man or the Maze. Shark Attack was doing the same thing. And then after that, there it is, Towering Inferno. So cool. I don't know why they're talking about violence. Towering Inferno, they're going to talk about violence? Heated debate. Guiding critics of electronic gaming jump repeatedly. Towering Inferno is the latest example of an action video game that puts players in a thrilling situation. But violent? Is it really violent? Towering Inferno, as we had already discussed, I'd say has the more expansive gameplay, broader gameplay than Firefighter. It is a lot of fun, plus the effect of the fire right now on the Atari is excellent. Having a blast with that. That's a good one. All right, let's keep on going. Oh, there's an ad over here for Telesys. Of the 3 games that Telesys has, this is, what is this? Fast Food, Cosmic Creeps. Oh, Coconuts. Yeah, Coconuts is another contender for, it's not that good. Not a lot of gameplay. For my money, if out of the games we've seen so far for Telesys, Fast Food would be the one that's worth playing. It's similar to Kaboom, but it's on its side. Or that kind of avalanche-style gameplay, and you have to pick certain things out. But this one is all right. This one's pretty good. Of the games that they showed over here in this ad. All right, let's flip to the next page. Oh, man. Wow. The whole page for Towering Inferno. Because you are rescuing people. It needs to be a poster. I would have made a poster for it right there. And then finally, they have a little section here for Ladybug, because as of right now, if you never played it in the arcades, Ladybug on the ColecoVision may very well be the only way you've ever heard of the game. All right, let's flip to the next one. There it is. Ladybug. Picture at the top. And then they go on to Gangster Alley by SpectraVision. This is on the Atari VCS as well. Gangster Alley is another unique title. It's something that you're controlling a character, or you're controlling a crosshair to shoot the gangsters. Right now, I mean, everyone understands this kind of game, but there's not a whole lot of games that are doing this on home consoles. So you have to give it that. All right, and then over here is, the Real Sports ad on the right side. They're showing Real Sports Baseball, which is shudderingly bad. Football and volleyball, these are all the Atari 2600 versions. So out of these 3, though, the pretty good one, if you want to check out a sports game by Real Sports, I think at this point it's just referred to as volleyball, or you can get cartridges that just say volleyball, but volleyball is the way to go. This one is the good or best title of those from this ad. All right, here we go. Now it feels like I'm giving everyone the rundown as if we're reading the magazine in December 1982 and telling you what's the really good games or which ones you should avoid. And over here on the left is Ultravision. We got Condor Attack and Karate. Coming soon, it says Quest for the Idol and Spider Kong. I think we're going to see Spider Kong, but I don't think we're going to see Quest for the Idol. Yeah, that one may not exist. All right, so of these 2 games, Condor Attack is like Phoenix. We've already seen and played this one. It's all right. You can see there's a little bit of jank, but not nearly as impressive as Demon Attack. The other one, Karate, there's nothing much to compare to. There's not any other games aside from maybe boxing on the Intellivision or other boxing games where you have one-on-one fighting like this. So ambitious, but it's not just super fun to play. Most of the time, the hit detection is terrible, but I have to commend them because there's not anyone else doing karate like this right now. It's going to get re-released later after the crash, too. All right, let's move on to the Player's Guide to Programmable Video Game Systems. Really excited to share you this because this will give you an idea of their context right now of home consoles, as we refer to them, and how we really see them based on the show here on Chronologically Gaming. Let's go. Moving on to the next page, the whole spread is about the Atari VCS. the most popular system right now. So they have some really interesting games here. And they show off a few things. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Nice picture. Showing off the whole system, 2 joysticks, 2 paddle controls, and then some really, really great classic games. This one is the system that has the most releases right now. Right now on Chronologically Gaming, we're going to see 11 more games on the Atari VCS before we close out 1982. The total number of games we're going to see in 1982 and the total number of games so far will be 208 games for the Atari VCS alone. That's how many games will be released and what we'll see here on Chronologically Gaming. Over here on the top right, oh look, they have a nice little area for the VCS Supercharger, and there's a few of the games. Fireball, Phaser Patrol, very nice. Look here at the top, there's a few games here. What's this game though? Frog Pond? Frog Pond will never be released. This one is another ghost game. It looks kind of like some of the other Frogs and Flies or Frog Bog games we played, but Frog Pond never saw the light of day. Haven't even heard of a prototype for this one that's released. And drop me a line if that one does exist, because I don't think so. The other thing too is, why did they put BASIC here? Why do they have a picture for BASIC? Were people clamoring to do BASIC on the VCS? All right, the next big system. Oh, actually, before we do that, if you look at the top, they have more things about. They talk about the supercharger and then the custom controllers you can be using, especially the Wiko joystick for the VCS. And then they move on to the Odyssey 2, and they refer to it as the family system. I don't know why, but interesting they said that. At this point on Chronologically Gaming, we will not see any more video games in 1982 for the Odyssey 2. We've seen everything up to this point, and the total number of games so far for the Odyssey 2 that we've seen is 44 games. And don't forget the Philips Video Pack, G7000, that's in Europe and a few other regions. There's one more game that we will see for that system, bringing the total to 48 games. Because here on the show, we split apart the two systems. We show all the releases for the Odyssey 2 in North America, and then all the releases on the Philips Video Pack. But this ad's pretty cool, or what they're talking about in the magazine, because they do a throwback. Look at that. The original Odyssey from 1972. Nice spread. It's cool. It's almost like looking at retro here in December 1982. So very, very nice. They explain how the system's flexible because it has the keyboard. And then they have a few games they show off, like Sub Chase, Thunderball, Invaders from Hyperspace is actually the last Odyssey 2 game. That's the one that we saw before 1982 is over. And then they have the Master Strategy series. This series can be hit and miss. Quest for the Rings is one of the best games you could play on all home consoles. Conquest of the World, and then the Stocks game that's available, that's not so good. All right, let's keep going. The next thing they bring out or talk about for the Odyssey 2, oh, there it is, the Great Wall Street Fortune Hunt. That's the one. No, don't even. And then they talk about the voice, as Wizard of Odyssey would always call it. It says during the first half of 83, they'll be adding a speech synthesizer. And Casey's Crazy Chase is one. We've already seen majority of the titles that use the voice. Because this magazine could be read by November or be out by November. December is when we saw the majority of the voice releases. Okay, and the next is the Mattel Intellivision. Super graphics galore. At this point on Chronologically Gaming, we will not see any more Mattel Intellivision games in 1982. Bringing the grand total for all Mattel Intellivision up to this point, 52 games. So there's 52 games that we've seen so far that you could be playing on this console. Oh, nice. There you go. Speaking of voice, there's the IntelliVoice module where you can play B-17 Bomber. Everyone say it with me. There's some people pretending to have fun. Oh, nice. I love the pictures here. Oh, here we go. Down here at the bottom, check it out. There's been some debate on whether Utopia was released or didn't release. Yes, we have seen it. Utopia's out. Most people don't believe it because Utopia's like a 4X strategy game, you know, kind of like Civilization. Available now, it can't be. But yes, it really is. Fact check that. And even Royal Dealer. Very cool. All right, let's keep going. So they say a few more things for the Intellivision over here. Oh, they're also bringing up games too. Words to play by, coping with Intellivision controllers. Look at this. While hailed as great innovation at the time of their introduction, the Intellivision hybrid keypad disc controller, especially engaged in fast action, proves both clumsy and painful to manipulate. Oh, so those Intellivision lovers, I wonder if they have something to say about that. Too funny. So over here is the next home console, the Bally Astrocade, or now the Videocade. We're going to see 3 more games for this console before the end of 1982, bringing the grand total of all the games we've seen up to this point, 36 for this console. So right here, great pictures. I really like how they show off the systems, even different ones. You can see it's the Astro Arcade right here. There's Bally Pin. What is Munchie Game? Munchie Game? What is that? Do they mean Muncher? I think Muncher is going to be out sometime in 1983, but there's nothing called Munchie Game. It's got to be Muncher maybe, but don't know if that one's Ghostware or not. And then we have Cosmic Raiders, very well done. They got to also talk about The Incredible Wizard. That's excellent for this system. And Football. Football is really, really good. All right, let's keep going. Then they talk about the software. Here it is. Yeah. All the other games. There's The Incredible Wizard, Wizard of War, Space Fortress. Yeah, we've seen it all. Not bringing up anything new that we've seen so far. All right, then we got the ColecoVision. We're not going to see any more games for the ColecoVision in 1982, bringing the grand total to 11. There is only 11 games for the ColecoVision, at least right now. But you have to remember, you plug in that expansion module and you can play all the Atari VCS games that we had just mentioned. There it is. There it is, the Atari emulator. The emulators are coming. Whoa, and they're in a lawsuit right now, if I remember correctly. Yeah. It says the Atari 5200 will soon make it possible for owners to play. No, it won't. The Atari 5200 will not. The 7800, which is way in the future. No one's talking about that right now. That one will. Check it out right here, though. This is about ColecoVision. First of all, there's a game called Smurf Play and Learn. I have no idea what that is. Maybe they mean the Paint and Play Workshop. That's going to be released sometime in 1984, I believe. And then we have Spectar. Spectar is the sequel to Targ, but are they referring to Spectron? Because that comes out on the ColecoVision, but it can't be because that's a completely different game. I believe this Spectar one is the re-release that Atari Age did, I think in 2006. So here's another one. These are 2 games that aren't going to see the light of day, possibly because of the video game crash. And then the final one, Horse Racing, no, never. No prototype, nothing, never released. So these 3 on top, hoped and shown here in the magazine, are not going to be released. Wow, the crash is real, man. Oh, and Jeremiah is correcting me, saying the 5200 did get the VCS adapter in 1983. The 5200 did get an adapter, and it worked. For some reason, I remember the adapter not working, or not working as well as the ColecoVision. So maybe they did. And speaking of the 5200, here it is. The Atari 5200 Super System. So now on the show, we've seen every 5200 game that can be released. We've seen the Atari 5200 original game, the packing game Super Breakout. We've seen the Galaxian port on the Atari 5200. We've seen, though very well done, and I'd say the must-have for this system because of the trackball, Missile Command on the Atari 5200. Then Pac-Man for the Atari 5200 is great, but it's a little too late, Atari. Sorry, you kind of soured the pond here. Then we've seen the Real Sports Soccer on the Atari 5200. Very well done soccer game for a home console right now. Space Invaders for the Atari 5200. Not as good as the VCS. Doesn't have as many game modes. And then Star Master on the Atari 5200 we've also played. It's awesome. It's like playing on the Atari home computer. We've even seen Defender ported to the Atari 5200. very well done. One of the best games you could play on all home consoles right now, aside from that joystick. And then finally, the Real Sports Football, slower than the VCS version, but that is also on the Atari 5200. There is no more games that we're going to see in 1982 for the release of the Atari 5200, bringing the grand total to 9. And we've only seen 9 games for the Atari 5200 up to this point. Yes, it does have a horrible controller. Okay, flipping on to the next page. Oh, yes, the Vectrex. This is the #1 system, in my opinion. The Vectrex is where it's at. They only have a little part to it. Oh, they have the guy in the ad playing the game right there. Yeah, the Vectrex is really where some of the best games and arcade ports, if you really want arcade games. We originally saw Mindstorm, which is included in the system for the Vectrex. Then we saw Armor Attack, ported from the arcade. Awesome. Another one was Berserk. Did Berserk need vector graphics? Yes. Yes, it did, and it plays great. Then Blitz Action Football, one of the only sports games that has a 3D perspective scrolling. Very, very cool. And then Clean Sweep, original Pac-Man style clone for the Vectrex was next. After that was a really cool game, Cosmic Chasm. Sure, it's ripping off the gameplay of multi-directional shooters like Asteroids, but it's so fun. It's very, very good. Hyper Chase is their racing game that you could play right now on the Vectrex. A behind-view racing game, mind you. Rip-Off is ripped off from the arcades. It's the port. Slightly improved port. Scramble is awesome. Very great port coming home officially, because we've seen so many rip-offs of Scramble that a true Scramble port's very fun. Then we saw Solar Quest, brought to the arcades at home, and Space Wars brought to the arcades at home. Star Trek is an original game that we saw on the Vectrex, and it's like a space combat flight simulation. Not flight simulation, it's more arcade. And then finally we saw Starhawk, ported from the arcades to the Vectrex. We will see no more games released in 1982 for the Vectrex, bringing the grand total to 13 games. 13 games for the Vectrex. It's awesome, though. It's pretty cool. And then look, the little console that could, they're actually bringing up the Emerson Arcadia 2001 here, showing you that it's really cheap. Yeah, you bet it's really cheap, because it's too bad. And they have the 2 games here, Catrax and Baseball, for the Emerson Arcadia. We've seen both these games. Catrax is a very well done Pac-Man style game. It's incorporating a few things that when we first saw it that weren't done anywhere else, but now a lot of people have ripped off things that Catrax has done. Baseball, though, is rough, really rough, and showcasing why this console didn't do so well. The Emerson Arcadia controls, some of the games don't even use the joystick. They rely on you only to use the number pad. Poor choice. I have no idea why they did that. It makes no sense to me. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to point out was some other games or other consoles that the magazine doesn't bring up. So besides the Arcadia 2001, it does close here saying what's next for video games. Future of home video game systems, or consoles as we refer to them. Telling you about the debut of the UltraVision next month here. UltraVision never came out. It's vaporware. Next is the Commodore Max machine, which is only released in Japan. We have seen the Commodore Max machine. We're going to see a few more games for it. But the VIC-20, Commodore 64, and Commodore PET, they're bringing that up, but they are computers. They kind of lump them here because these computers were sold in video game or game stores like the other consoles, at least at the time. But there's more consoles than that. The APF Imagination Machine, or the APF MP1000, still has life in it. Before the end of the year, we'll see one more game, maybe more, for this system, because they're going to incorporate cassettes done not as well as the supercharged system for the Atari VCS. So the total number of games we've seen so far, or will see, for the APF Imagination Machine is 14. Another console that we've seen that's only available in Germany is the Interton VC4000. There's 4 more games left to see before we close out 1982, and another really obscure German console we've seen is the SHG Blackpoint. We're going to see, we've seen all the games for that. There's 7 games, but there is other consoles that are out there besides these. All right, and we already mentioned the video pack. All right, so over here is an ad for Star Raiders, only from Atari. Oh, so cool. Do we have a Star Raiders video? No, we don't. We have the next one. Yeah, that's a cool one. But Star Raiders is a fun time. Very, very nice. The next page is Inside Gaming. They're going to have an interview or a talk with Fernando Herrera, first star in the Atari universe. They say that Space Chase was one of the first games that they ever saw that brought Fernando Herrera to light. Now, we've seen this game. Space Chase is for the Atari home computer, and we've played it. I mean, the music is already pretty cool, and the gameplay is awesome. This game is one of the very few video games that started out as a computer game that gets ported to the arcade later. So way to go, Fernando Herrera. And they bring up here in the magazine some of his first start. He made a game called My First Alphabet, which I looked into this. He won $25,000 for making My First Alphabet, and there he is, Fernando Herrera. Very cool. And then there's some Astro Chase ad right here. Very cool. Yeah, the playfield. And then they say that he has a game coming out called Dangerous Cargo. There is no such game as Dangerous Cargo. I have no idea what name this turned into or where this came from or if it's gone and there's no existence of Dangerous Cargo. So to my knowledge, it never released. We'll never see Dangerous Cargo. The next section is all about the arcade. This is the golden age of arcade games. It's December 1982. It's talking about all the different things, and everything here we've seen. Dig Dug, Kickman, Zaxxon, yes, we saw at the beginning of the year. Kix, Frogger, yes. Tron, oh, that's a big one too. Space Dungeon, Kangaroo, Jungle King, yeah, Robotron. They're all here. A few of the titles that they're not mentioning because they're not released in North America yet. A big one is Xevious. Xevious is one we just saw, and that one is cream of the crop arcade game action. Even if you're not a fan of Xevious, you got to admit it's pretty impressive. Flip to the next page, we got Kix, and then Zaxxon. Man, the artwork here is so good. Giving us some pictures. Looks like a poster for Zaxxon. And then there's more supercharging your Atari. Oh yes, and Satan's Hollow. Do you like Galaga? You'd love Satan's Hollow. Do you like Satan? Then you'd love Satan's Hollow. Yeah. Will your parents love it? No. And that's why you'll love it even more. Good times. Let's flip to the next page. And then they've done this a few times in Electronic Games Magazine. They just show off an arcade. This is so cool. This is a arcade club in California called Central Park. And this is nice. Just getting some screenshots of an arcade right now in December 1982. Oh, nice, Paul. Yeah, the 2600 Xevious. We haven't seen that yet, but yes, it is an impressive port. We will see it for sure. Yeah, check out, look at these screenshots. What are we playing here? Defender. We got Centipede. In the back, it's harder to tell. Looks like I see Satan's Hollow back there. You can't hide from the joystick from Satan's Hollow. It's the same one as Tron. It's Tron's joystick. And then here's an ad for the IntelliVoice module. Already brought that one up. Lots of games that are talking to you now, which is kind of cool. And Brian in the chat says, Satan's Hollow was at the orthodontist office. That's awesome. Go get your teeth straightened while you shoot Satan. Sounds great. Okay, well, now we go into computer gaming because they also do it in the magazine too. So this has a big spread on Galactic Gladiators, a surprisingly well done strategy game. So this one is special because of all the strategy games we played, there's a few features that Galactic Gladiator does that we haven't seen before. This is by SSI, and majority of the times when we play these games on Chronologically Gaming, we cannot do the game justice. I always reference another gamer who's spending the time to play it all the way through to give you an idea of what what you're looking at. But this game is a beast. Most of the SSI strategy games, you're going to spend a long time playing it, and Galactic Gladiators is the same thing. Hey, and look, this is an ad for Thorn EMI Video. Thorn EMI has done several games for Atari home computer and for the VIC-20. And down here, look at this. There's a game. What's that called? Submarine Commander. Yes. And there it is. Darts. Oh, that's awesome. All right, I don't know if you guys can hear. If I try to do, I really wanted to show off the music of darts, because when we first heard the Pokey chip on the Atari home computer, darts is the one that really impressed me. Let me see if I can get it to play. Can I play the... Let me see if I can get this up. If I get the music to go, will it work? I don't know if it'll... Let me know if you can hear this. Can you hear this? Can everyone hear the... This is darts. It's beautiful. When I first heard that, it sounded like magical, because at that point we'd only heard a few jingles or background sounds from the arcade, and to hear something that good at home, it really blew my mind. It was from darts. But just because everything's so silent right now, there's a lot of games that don't have a lot of music or sound effects. Yes, and Paul's bringing up Blue Max. Yes, when we get into those really hardcore, fun Commodore 64 games, my mind's going to be blown. We played the Commodore Max Machine, and there was a music maker, which was kind of cool, but it wasn't making it sing. They really made the Pokey chip sing. It was pretty cool. So of all the games you could play right now, I would say you need to check out River Rescue on the Commodore VIC-20. This one is essentially a shoot 'em up, like you're playing, but you're in a boat, and has an element of rescuing different things. So if Thorny My Videos, if you're not into simulation or any of these other titles they're talking about, like Submarine Commander, because there is a flight simulator they've done, which is way beyond most video games. This one's still an alright title. Yeah. Oh, Blue Max on the Atari 400. Oh, yeah. That's a really good one that makes the Pokey chip dance around. All right, let's flip on to the next page. Next is, what is this game? Deluxe Computer Stocks and Bonds by Avalon Hill. Wait, what? What are they talking about? They're talking about computer stocks and bonds? I guess that's the same game. Yeah, it's got to be Avalon Hill's game. And then Empire of the Overmind, they always bring up for some reason. I don't know why. It's okay. You don't need to bring that up every time. We got Star Blaster. This one was kind of like a side view of the game where you're shooting inside someone's body. But it's not shooting inside someone's body. It's another shoot 'em up. Over here on the right side is Baja Buggies. No way. Baja Buggies is one of the few, and we mentioned Hyper Chase on the Vectrex, one of the few rare games you can play at home that has a behind-view racing game. Pole position ports haven't happened yet. There is not pole position at home. Pole position's in the arcade, but Baja Buggies, while very simplistic, there's very few games that you can play at home that's a racing game like this from a behind view. Too cool. So yeah, GameStar is another one of those ones that went bankrupt. I bid you goodbye. Then we have Juggler here. That's not even anything based on the game. Is it juggling water balloons? Okay, yeah. So yeah, Juggler's all right. We've seen Juggler before. Anybody remember this one? This isn't the best looking view of the game because it doesn't have the artifacting turned on. But it's like we're playing another Avalanche or another game like Clowns and Balloons. It's the same idea. It's all right. Kind of average for the games you could play right now. Oh, not yet. Let's go to the next one. Then down here at the bottom, they have Dogfight. Dogfight is one we did not see. It is not super impressive, but we have not seen it on the show. Dogfight and Dogfight 2 are on Chronologically Gaming's backlog. I believe it's 1981 when those came out. And then on the right side, we got an ad by Synchro. All these games, while the title and box or presentation's all right, these are average at best. Some are suboptimal, at least all these titles. And then we haven't even seen, after Astron 4, we saw Astron 9 as well. It says coming soon, Laser Ants. Yeah, haven't seen that one yet. All right, let's keep going. More computers. What else we got? We got Dogfight still at the top. And then over here's all the ads by US Games. Oh, US Games. Got some hits, got some misses. Space Jockey's pretty good. Commando Raid, there it is. Oh, yeah, one of the best ones. Towering Inferno, very nice. Then we got the poor kid down here. with Word Zapper. Why is Ronald Evans smiling? I think he was forced to smile for that one. And then look, they even have an ad for Sneak and Peek. the only hide and seek video game to tell kids you don't have to play hide and seek at home. We'll go to the next section. This is the strategy session. There's a whole magazine devoted to this, which we also see here on Chronologically Gaming. So it's interesting that they have... This isn't really strategy games. I thought it was strategy games. All this is talking about ways that you can be better at video games. They have Star Strike for the Intellivision, which is also ported by M Network to the Atari VCS right now. Then Empire Strikes Back. But I mean, love the artwork here. This is another reason the magazine's awesome. If you don't read everything in its entirety, I will say that there's some typos. You know, in electronic games, some of the information isn't all accurate, but you got to admit, the artwork is super plus. Great job, guys. All right, let's keep going. After that, they have, oh yeah, Cosmic Avenger. We saw this on ColecoVision earlier. It's basically Scramble. It's a Scramble clone or Super Cobra. Look at, they say Defender. Nope, sorry. Defender scrolls both ways, guys. Not auto-scrolling one way. And then we have, oh, no way. They talk about Deadline. Deadline is Infocom's beautiful interactive fiction. Solve the crime, beat the deadline. Yeah, this is awesome. Again, excellent, well done artwork here. Really, really fun. We played this one already on a few different home computers, and every time we play a interactive fiction game or text adventure game, we play a little part of it and then save it on one computer, and then we load it on the next computer and keep going where we left off. So we will see Deadline some more on other systems, I believe next year, but we've already seen that one. It's great. This is all about something called the beam scope. It's about a projection that just makes the screen bigger. Like, what is this? Oh, like if you want to play Ladybug super big. Like, make your screens even bigger. All right. I don't even know if it worked. Did anyone have the beam scope? Look at this. There's a better picture. It's supposed to just enhance the image. That just sounds like it's going to make it really terrible to look at. Just really, really bad. All right. We got Astro Chase over here, which we've seen the Fernando Herrera, same game. That's an ad for it. Oh my goodness. This is the ultimate gaming gift. This is it. It's the Emerson Arcadia 2001. That's your ultimate gaming gift. Now, the briefcase is pretty cool. But why the Emerson Arcadia 2001? Of all the consoles we talked about, this is on par with the APF Imagination Machine. Put the VCS in here, and now we're talking. But look at this. A screen. They're playing the ripoff of Galaxian right there on that tiny screen. That's pretty cool. Just put a VCS in there. They're really trying to sell the Emerson Arcadia 2001. Yep. Crazy. All right, let's flip to the next page. And then, yeah, this is talking about what you can do with that ultimate gaming system. No way. Look up here. An ad for Donkey Kong. The Nintendo Game & Watch. Too cool. We have seen this one. I would argue this is one of the best ways to play a handheld right now. Unless you really enjoy those Coleco tabletop handhelds. This is the best one. One of the best right here. Look at that. $40 for Donkey Kong. And on the right side, it's an ad for Data Age. So cool. The only game they didn't bring up is this one, Journey Escape, which we've also played, probably because of licensing reasons. They couldn't keep it up. But this is one of the other games, still average at best for the games you could play by Data Age. The rest of these are downright terrible. Snake is terrible. Airlock is one of the worst games, and in the contender for, again, worse than E.T. If you want to point out more games that are worse than E.T., there it is. Airlock and Snake, that'll do it. Okay, keep going. What else do we have? The standalone scene. It's the handheld world, everyone. Scramble, the handheld. So this is one we are not going to be playing. There wasn't a way to emulate or showcase Scramble, so this is it. What you're seeing here is Scramble as the handheld on Chronologically Gaming. $50 by Tomy. So as far as handhelds go, oh, there's an ad for Vectrex. Look how happy they are. The mom is so excited. See, she knows how good the Vectrex is. The dad has more wrinkles by his eyes. How many times did they practice that smile? But it is true. Vectrex is the best. Vectrex is the best right now. All right, so as far as handhelds go, it's going to go through a few different ones here. Let's keep going to the next one. Oh, very nice. Yeah, this is Tommy's ad showing Pac-Man, which we've seen, and Tron, which we've seen. Tron's interesting. Tron is a handheld that has multiple screens. It actually goes, similar to the arcade, to different modes for the handheld. One of the first ones to ever do that. And Paul's bringing up something we'll never see. I don't think we'll ever see Vectrex Mini in December 1982, right? No way. Maybe later, whenever Chronologically Gaming is genealogically gaming. All right, so there you go. Move to the next screen. Thanks, Tommy. Then we have another game called Escape from the Devil's Doom and Invaders of the Mummy's Tomb from Bandai. Very nice. There's the Astrocade ad here on the right side. We already talked about the Astrocade. And here they are. Solar-powered games. Wow. Look how tiny they are. Still using LCD, though. Very nice. I dig it. And then over here is just some random different things at the world's largest selection. Next section is all about Robotron in the arcades, how to do better at Robotron 2084. This is the different aliens. Love it. Yeah, Robotron 2084 is another tour de force. Eugene Jarvis's masterpiece after Defender, and it's great. Arcade, fantastic. Love the pictures down the bottom left there. And then we have, arcade cabinet of Robotron. Very nice. Lots of random ads here. Atari home computer ads. Nice. I love it. And then we got the Hulk, which you can't destroy in Robotron 2084. And then we have random ads. United Video of America showing all the different stuff they have. I always try to go through these to see if there's something we've never heard of before. Like, what is Apollo's Kaifas? Is that... We've played Wabbit. I don't believe Kaifas is a game. Or it's not one we've seen up to this point. Maybe it's one of those ones we'll see before the end of the year. Because there are some games that we don't know when they released, and that might be it. All right, we got more random ads, and then Robotron 2084, and oh my goodness, look at this. Yes, Hook Up to Awesome. Pole Position is in the arcades. It is incredible, and everyone's going to try to rip this off. The racing experience. So much fun. We got the mini arcade gallery, so they're still on handhelds over here. And this is them talking about the Milton Bradley Microvision. So just a heads up for handhelds. We are not going to see any more Milton Bradley Microvision. We saw the last one earlier this year, bringing the grand total to 12 games. There is no more Milton Bradley Microvision, 12 total games. And they're going to talk about a few of them here, as well as other handhelds that's not in the magazine. There's the Intex Select-A game that's available right now. We played, or we didn't play. We just saw all 6 of the games. But since they brought up Donkey Kong, I did want to point out the Nintendo Game & Watch. We are not going to see any more Nintendo Game & Watch games for the remainder of 1982, bringing the grand total right now to 23 Nintendo Game & Watch games. Another handheld that they're not going to bring up is the Tiger Electronics line of handhelds. Yes, Tiger exists right now. We're not going to see any more of Tiger handheld electronics for the remainder of 1982, bringing the grand total to 8 Tiger electronic games so far. As far as all other handhelds, we are going to see 10 more handhelds before the end, or before we close 1982. Man, oh man. All right, so yeah, this is wireless controllers. Can you believe that's a thing? I can't believe it. This artwork is so good. This is for the battle. Look, this is for the Milton Bradley Microvision C-Dual, and they get artwork that looks way too good. That's incredible. And then we have some more random ads. We'll just flip through these. We've already seen Star Strike before, and they have a lot of coverage for Milton Bradley Microvision. Kind of nice, showing off pinball there. And then we have a Q&A section. Next is people writing in about things they need help with. There's Yar's Revenge. And then there's the VIC-20. They haven't talked about the Commodore 64, but we have seen releases for the 64 to this point. There's a very popular Commodore 64 Christmas demo that's being played right now. But this has some good stuff. People asking questions about games or needing help with games. It's like tech support in the magazine. All right, let's keep going. Next is for analog computing. Now this one is something like that. Oh no, they brought up the X-rated games. Now, on Chronologically Gaming, we don't play any adult video games because we don't want to get banned or anything. But I can't believe that they're bringing up ads for it. We haven't seen. Okay, we've seen Custer's Revenge, and we've seen the ripoff of it, but we haven't seen the others yet. They're going to be released at some time in 1982. Over here on the right is an ad for UMI, and they are talking about Amok. UMI had the guts to blend together a action space sci-fi game with a mime, because I guess the UMI has a mime as their main. Why would you make a mime as the main one? For the fun of Vic, because everything on UMI is on the Vic 20. Well, Amok isn't really the best that we've seen from this company. From UMI, there's some better games out there. Yes, there is Amok. Amok is essentially Berserk, and it's a slow, poor man's Berserk. It feels like you're running through syrup when you play Amok. But yeah, it's essentially a Berserk ripoff. The better games, though, by UMI that they should have talked about are Outworld. Outworld is a really cool missile command or command shooter style game, and this is for the Commodore VIC-20. This is a really good looking game for the Commodore VIC-20, or just computer games in general right now. Another game UMI did was called Satellites and Meteorites. I'll give you one guess on what they ripped off, but you can tell it's pretty good. Very well done. Another really fun one is Spiders of Mars, ripping off Defender, but with the insect theme, it works and plays really well. And then finally, they did Video Vermin. UMI, like most games for home computers right now, rips off arcade titles. This one's obviously Centipede, but still, there's other things they could have done besides the other, besides Amok. Why Amok? And why a mime? Very curious, UMI. Yes, they had a mime of their own. Keep the puns coming, Paul. All right, next is pinball. They even cover pinball. We don't cover pinball on Chronologically Gaming because it is mechanical, not a video game. But you can see we got Spectrum, we got Cosmic Gunfight. Very nice. Well done, Electronic Games, for bringing up pinball. Going even beyond Chronologically Gaming. All right, and then what in the world is this? We have an ad by Wizard. What is this? Wizard. A new way to take out your frustrations. The first violent and adult video games. No way. So I didn't even know this was going to be in the magazine. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, first of all, is not the first violent video game. Now, maybe they mean console game. Okay, maybe the first one. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre is not going to be out in 1982. I don't even think we're going to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre until, is it sometime 1983 that we get that one? Maybe, I think that is. But then look here on the right, we got a game called Flesh Gordon, the first adult video. No, it's not. It's arguable if the first adult video game was the porn adventure game by Sierra, or the game that we saw in the arcades. But Flesh, what? This one doesn't. This isn't even the game. This is another vaporware. Just a travesty. This is probably the reason why we had the video game crash. That was based on a movie? I didn't even know. No way. It can't be a movie. But it's not a real video game. So what you're seeing here is not real. Become Flesh Gordon, the immortal doer of good. The first ever adult participatory game as you travel the under... Oh no. Yeah, that's just terrible. It is not coming for Christmas 82. Texas Chainsaw Massacre will be released, but Flesh Gordon will not. And no, they are not the first violent. If you want a violent video game, you need to check out the Biles Toad. The Biles Toad on the Apple II, I believe, is the violentest video game that we've seen on Chronologically Gaming so far. No way it is a real movie. Very scary. All right, let's keep going. We have more of the standalone scenes here. There's a Casio. Okay, who cares? And then we have another interesting point, if you'd like to peruse magazines, showing the different price points. So this is like one store showing the prices for some of the games. So they're still high right now. Even though it's December 1982, we still have, like on the Astrocade, $25 cartridges. Atari is a little bit cheaper, but still like Street Racer Adventures. Adventure's still $26. But I'll let you take a look at that one if you want to. The next section is the reader's picks. This is readers picking their favorite video games. So this is really interesting. about popular video games. The cartridge games, they have #1 Defender on the Atari VCS. Adventure is behind it. Adventure was 6th place last month. And then we got the M Network games, Major League Baseball, Night Stalker. Oh, no, not M Network. This is the real ones on the Intellivision. Berserk is here, very nice. Demon Attack, Yours Revenge. Very cool. Oh, Pickaxe Pete's here. Very cool. I like Pickaxe Pete. It is good. Okay. Next is the most popular computer games. Star Raiders is still #1 on the Atari home computer. Castle Wolfenstein. Excellent. There's Wizardry. Where is Ultima? Ultima is not here, and it should be. And Empire of the Overmind should not. There also should be more strategy titles here. And then finally for Coin-Op, they have Donkey Kong, Tron, Dig Dug, Miss Pac-Man, Robotron, Pac-Man, Tempest, Zaxxon. Oh, love it. Great lineup, great lineup. I love it. Cool to see what the reader said, or what Electronic Games says the reader said. And then we have Thumbs That Play Together. What game is this? Playtime Kitchen. Oh, okay, it's one of the ripoffs of Nintendo Game & Watch, but majority of the games right now are just standalone, one game that you can play, LCD, or vacuum fluorescent display for some of those tabletops. Oh, no way, they have a Moonbase IO section? So this one's a computer game for the Atari home computer. This one, you actually, yeah, it says it's a talking video game because you play the game and a cassette tape is playing and having footage or content while you're playing. It's something we couldn't replicate on the show. I did include links down below, but it's still pretty cool. And then what is this? Video furniture. You're not going to play video games in that. A bionic chair. Too cool. Too funny. And then we got Epics, Reader's Poll. Okay, yeah, this is so you can send in your favorite video games. Love it. All right. So there's coming next in Electronic Games. Wizard of Odyssey is the second to last page. And the back of it is all about the Activision. Activision going to the Intellivision with the two games that we have seen. Gotta admit, that was pretty cool. A great read, another fun time on Electronic Games Magazine. So now it's time to put all the video game reading on pause. If you're still here, if you watched the whole video, then you must be an avid gamer. You want to know what's going on in December 1982 compared to everything else that's available out there. Well, that's what we do on Chronologically Gaming. If that's something you're into, then make sure you like the video, leave a comment, just let us know that this is something that is really fun or cool for you. I really want to give a big shout out to everyone that's here live on the show, sending out all these comments. We usually rate every game, so every time we get to a new game, we rate it as we see it, and everyone that's here on the live show can throw out their ratings and be a Chronologically Gaming influencer. I also want to give a big shout out to everyone that's on Patreon for joining me here and supporting the show. Everyone that's been supporting Chronologically Gaming, it's been a real fun and a blast to have a really good perspective and context of the video game landscape right now. Can't imagine how many games more we're going to see that have been lost to time. Alright, so next time on Chronologically Gaming, we will be back to gaming. There is Space B on the Sharp MZ, along with Admiral Graph Speed. I sound like Dr. Seuss. Plus, there's an enhanced port of the very first roguelike. That's it for today, and like I always say, if we keep this up, we will become Electronic Games. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and be a Chronologically Gaming influencer, rating the games as we play them. This video wouldn't be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and Main. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every video game. We have links down below that give more information on the games we played this episode, as well as our Discord and Patreon. There's a link called All the Games We Have Played. website. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.